have been around for going on 11 years now. So we started in Nashville, Tennessee. Our organization is called Motivated and Empowered Inc. And we work with girls to help them be their best me. So we just launched in Cleveland in 2018. We partnered with some school districts, did some community outreach, and now we just opened up an all-girl community center.
Okay, so where is that community center located at?
Our community center is at 3740 Euclid Avenue. We're right across the street from the Red Cross and the Children's Museum.
Okay, so you just said you just opened it up?
Yeah, the center we just opened, yes.
It's open up, but you also how long have you been thinking about this as
The
far as?
center been my thing since day one. But you can't always get to the big vision without taking baby steps. So it started out in phases. And phase one was partner with school districts, which we did. Phase two was partner with churches, which we did. Phase three was getting involved in the community, which we did. And then phase four was to open up the center. So here we are.
Okay, so how many people made donations to the for your nonprofit, or you just did you ask for any, or did you have it already set up?
No, so we are for the last 3 years have completely been supported by the kindness of the community of Cleveland, Ohio, in Nashville, Tennessee. So all of the things that we've been able to do, back to school drives, Christmas giveaways, has all come from the community support. This year was our first year actually having a fundraiser. It was also our first year writing grants. Because the need, once people realize what we do, the need multiplied. So we went from serving only 100, like 75 to 100 girls, to now we have a waiting list of 192 girls that wants to be a part of what we do.
Okay, and what do you do for the girls?
Inside the center, we have multiple things. So our headline is one thing, one place a girl can come to get everything she needs. So when you walk into the center, we have a lounge where girls can come in and just hang out. We have an art room where they can come in and use their art skills. We have a tutoring center where we make sure the girls are meeting the state standards to be successful in school. We have a college center for our high school students where we are helping them get ready for college. So we do ACT, SAT training, we do scholarships, grants, and we do college tours. Unfortunately, this year it's virtual, but we typically do a college tour. We also have a beauty room where we do hair and makeup education, but also if a girl is in need and don't have the resources, we do have volunteer stylists that will come in and do their hair. We have a dance center where we now have a dance camp actually kicking off tomorrow. And we have a therapy room where we offer therapy and case management. And then we also do an academy. We talk about suicide prevention, education, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy.
And that's for the girls. That's for young.
Yep, all girls ages 5 to 17.
5 to 17. So the 5-year-old can learn about her credit, right?
She probably won't, right? She'll probably start to do something different. We try to make sure that we match them with things that on their level, but also to their interests. So I am a master's student for human development family services, and we all know that there's two type of organizations in the world. There are youth groups and there's youth empowerment groups, right? And then there's youth development groups. And a lot of times in the city of Cleveland, we have youth groups and youth empowerment groups, but we don't have people who work on positive youth development. And that's what our organization is about, is making sure they develop. And our theory is different than most. So a lot of people say, oh, do you work with at-risk girls or do you work with inner city girls? That's not our theory. We have a theory of spark, and our theory is that every person has a little spark inside of them that has to be set on fire. And it's my job to find out what the spark is and how to set it on fire. And once I set it on fire, that begins to give them purpose, and purpose pushes them past the titles that's attached to them. So it pushes them past being homeless. It pushes them past being coming from a single household. It pushes them past being inner city or at risk or low income. So we don't identify with those things when it comes to our kids.
So pretty much you just work with everybody as long as you know you want to empower,
Exactly.
you want to so pretty much encourage them to do the right thing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So How about so you said ages 5 to 17. So you have a beauty room in the center, you have things of that. What gave you this passion about working with girls?
I really don't have an age because when God gave it to me, He just gave me girls and women. So I'm all about making girls and women be their best. So I like working with older women. That's why I have my for-profit organization. And I love working with kids. So that's why I have my, nonprofit. And we also have summer camp. So it's just my passion is just to serve women who look like me.
Okay. So what is the for-profit organization doing?
My for-profit organization is called Be Marie Purpose Consulting, and I help women begin their businesses, whether it's a for-profit or nonprofit. I help them legally structure it the correct way. I also do grant writing for clients for anyone. I'm a certified grant writer. And I also help women and men scale their business. So a lot of times, people start a business and they have this dream of being here and they're right here, and I help them scale that so that they can completely walk in their purpose and prosper in it.
Okay. So shout out to one of my Facebook Live people, Latoya Witcher, running for mayor of the city of Cleveland. She wants to network with you on a positive level. And pretty much, and you're doing something positive. You had a lot of people talk about what you are doing for these women and girls. So
Thank you.
kudos to you. So the question I have for you is, um, what made, like you just said, God gave you a purpose, giving you girls and women. So you just woke up God told you to wake up one day and say, "Hey, you need to do this." Sometimes God, listen.
And
I'm
he
a
is that
firm,
type of guy, right? But no, that
right.
ain't how it
I'm a
started.
firm believer in Jesus Christ and God. I'm like, when he tell you to do, when the Almighty do something, you gotta listen, or something gonna
No,
happen to you.
yeah, it didn't start like that. No, it started from just my life experiences. My mom had me at 15, and growing up was rough, because she was a kid raising a kid, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we experienced a lot of things, losing our house, moving place to place, and that relationship was tarnished because, she was a kid raising a kid. But it was also I was molested growing up, I was raped, and just overcoming those things was really hard for me. I even got caught up in the juvenile system. They told me they was gonna lock me up until I was 21. But thank God there was a judge named Peter Secor who recently passed away. He actually reached out to my school, he reached out to my family, and he did a special hearing for me. And he was like, I can't lock you up. There's too much inside of you for you to be behind bars. So I decided that that was the day that I realized that there was more to life than the struggles that I was facing. That was at 15. So at 16, I began to write down what it is I wanted to do. At the time, I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to be a family law attorney. And I was like, I want to go to this school, that school, that school. Well, when it was time to go to school, I actually graduated a year early from high school, got accepted to 32 different colleges and universities. My mom wasn't really comfortable with me going away from far away. So I went to Kent. Kent's a party school, right? So
Right.
I got caught up. I got
Uh,
caught up
uh,
partying. And yeah, I got into a domestic violence relationship. I ended up being homeless and all those things. And I lost everything. But literally my husband came in like an eagle, and I knew day one he was my husband, and he moved me to Nashville. I was able to get refocused and really understand why I was going through the things I did. And it was there that God was like, listen, this life experience was because I needed you to experience some things so that when you go talk to these girls and women, they don't want to hear all the time people saying, oh, I'm educated in this, right? Just because you have a degree in it don't mean you're relatable and you don't know how to get out of it. The difference with me is that I lived it, right? So now I can tell you exactly how to get out of it because I went from
mm-hmm.
being homeless to making six figures. So I can tell you what the struggle looked like, and I can tell you the things that I had to encounter to overcome it.
Right. The struggle is real, and people don't realize that.
Right.
They don't realize that. So you went from almost getting locked up in juvenile. Like usually when you get locked up in juvenile, somebody got hurt behind it. Like I was like,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I had a magistrate Yaman was her name.
mm,
And I got locked up twice. She only seen me twice. And she told me she was tired of seeing me and that she was sending me away till I was 21 because me and my
Wow.
mom used to fight. I mean, we used to fight because it was just we didn't get along. And she was like, "I'm tired of seeing you. You ain't never gonna be nothing." That's was just what she told me, and I mean, she believed it. I was just another black girl in front of her with a bad attitude, right? So
Mm.
she was, she was like, "I'm gonna give you the book. Like it is what it is. I don't care. You don't have any potential. You like all the rest of them." And I told her that day, "I'm not who you think I am." That's exactly what I told her, and I said, "I'm not going to be who you think I am. So you can lock me up if you want to, but I'm still
That's
gonna be everything."
crazy. That's Here's the thing. When people say stuff like that to children, it has a very nasty effect, especially if you're going through some negative stuff, right? Already, it's like you ain't never gonna be. You can't say that to a teenager, no matter how, because they haven't experienced anything yet. How like a teenager, like, you ain't doing this, you ain't gonna do right, or you do this, you do that. It's a very like the self-esteem, especially we lower, especially African American men. You're not supposed to do that. Lower yourself because you already got strikes against you when you're born. So
Right.
here,
And that's what I tell people. I was born with multiple strikes, right? So not only was I a black female being born in America, I was born to a teenage mother, right?
mhm,
Who lived in the inner city of Cleveland, who was now have to leave school and drop out of school to take care of her child. So I became a statistic. So from day one, I was a statistic. I was not supposed to succeed. I was supposed to have 5 kids. I was supposed to have them when I was 15. I wasn't supposed to graduate high school, and I darn sure wasn't supposed to have 4 degrees. So to be everything I am is totally against what society says that I'm supposed
okay.
to be.
So here's my question to you is this: now that you went through that, you went through all that. So um, how did you get like what has there been any bumps in the road getting this nonprofit?
Oh yes. Nonprofit is not for the faint of heart, right? So you
Okay,
nonprofit
go
is
ahead.
really it's not for it's not nothing like an LLC. And because I run a corporation and I have a non-corporation, like I understand both sides. And nonprofit is a whole nother monster that there's going to be days that you feel like you're not appreciated, you're not heard, right? So I think you came to my gala back in 2018. I had down at the Crown Plaza.
Yeah, I
Um,
did.
yeah. So that was really like my first launch, right? So I had in my head, I'm about to do this gala. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna have the mayor there. I'm gonna have that. That man didn't even accept my invitation. Okay. So
Frank
it
don't get out that much, and that's how you can tell that, Mayor Jackson, God bless him, but he old. He got to take care
yeah,
of wife, his
I
grandson run
invited the
around shooting people. Don't do that.
so, but in my head, I was like, this is gonna be big. I invited the CEOs of Cleveland Clinic, University Hospital. I invited the councilmen from around the city of Cleveland because I served the Cleveland population. Um, and none of them showed up. Not one. I was
Mm,
devastated. I took a $10,000 loss during this event that was supposed
mhm.
to be a fundraiser for our kids. That day I decided I wasn't doing this anymore. I was giving up. I was going back to Nashville because I was successful in Nashville. It's a different atmosphere in Nashville. And I said Cleveland wasn't ready for me. God told me that it wasn't my time or my turn yet, and I needed to be patient and that he was going to do it, but I had to be in the right position in order for him to do what he was about to do.
Right.
So I did the work. I had some sleepless nights. It was me and my husband serving for a very long time. And now I would think I did one interview on Channel 5 last week.
Uh, yeah.
Um, and my friend called me the quiet storm. She was like, "You just came out of nowhere, like boom, here you go, Cleveland. I'm about to I'm about to give you what y'all been missing." And now we've been approached by the city of Akron. We've been approached by Houston, Texas, by Nashville to come back and actually open a center and open a boys center of what we have. So I guess it's just whenever God says go, it's go. It wasn't my go yet.
Right. Right. It wasn't your go yet. They was preparing you for the go.
Yeah.
Once you take off, you're gonna have to wear some flats or some tennis shoes or whatever, because
And that's how I feel right now. I feel like I got my running shoes on and I can't stop.
right. So how many degrees? You say you got 4 degrees. What are the 4 degrees that you specialize in? Yeah.
I have an associate's in corrections and criminal. I have another associate's of arts in criminology. I have my bachelor's in justice administration, and I also have my bachelor's in integrative studies. And now I'm working on my fifth degree. I am in my second year. I got 2 semesters left in my master's of human development family services. I am a certified correctional officer as well. I was a correctional officer for 4 years. And yeah,
So
so
you CEO, huh?
I
Okay.
was.
All right. So where did you work in Crawford County, or did you work in Nashville doing
I did. I worked in Nashville. I worked for Davidson County, and I worked in the men's prison.
it? You worked in a men's prison?
Yeah, I
How was
worked in the
that?
gang unit.
How was that like being a CO, being a woman, a CO in the men's prison in Nashville? I know them brothers probably just rough down there. And you probably but not only just like the brothers, but let's be honest, you probably ran into some racism in there.
Well, I did. So my very first day when the door slammed behind me and locked, I felt like my whole heart dropped, right? So
Mm-hmm.
here I am. I worked the night shift. So I worked from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And um I was in a unit by myself with 115 men. And at that time I worked in what they considered the older pod. So all the guys were 40 and up.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am, 20 some years old, telling these old men what to do. And they was looking at me like, I hate you every single day. But what I realized was it was about how I set the tone and how our relationships and communication was essential. So I communicated with my inmates. I let them know day one, listen, you're already in prison, okay? It can't get no worse than this unless you did. So you either gonna have to make this the best time of your life, or I'm gonna make it the worst time of your life. You're
Right.
gonna choose. And I always let them know that I'm gonna respect you as long as you respect me, right? Because they
Mm-hmm.
already treating you like an animal in here. So either we can get along and you just follow the rules, or we can play hardball and then I can use the power that's been given to me. I had the cleanest pod in the whole prison. I had the most orderly pod. I never had a fight. So I went from that unit over to the gang unit. I was certified as a gang prevention officer. Um, I manned our gang unit with had 145 men who was all in some type of gang or had serious crimes or was waiting for trials like murder or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to change that pot around. I got promoted from there to segregation. And I went from segregation to med ops, which started with our medical observation. And then I was promoted from there to the special response team. So I was like sort. And then I left there because I was doing that pregnant and my husband had a heart attack. And I went and became the chaplain's assistant.
Okay. Well, you were pregnant in that. This is all in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Nashville, Tennessee. You were pregnant, and your husband had a heart attack.
He had like a mental heart attack with me being in there with the men. I was fighting, I was taking men down. I was spraying, pepper spray,
Right.
and I was high risk pregnant. And I'm running up and down the stairs, and he was like, "This is way too much for you."
So what's your husband's profession?
My husband works in the funeral industry. So he is a funeral liaison and director over at Lucas Memorial.
Okay. I think I seen your husband. I think I
Yeah.
seen him a couple of places out of Black Wall Street. So he works with Lucas
Yeah.
Memorial. So you come here. When did you move to Cleveland?
I'm originally from Cleveland, but I moved back in
Right, when did you
2000
move back? I'm sorry.
and 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've been back 6 years now.
Okay, so what made you come back to Cleveland?
I had my first son and all of our family is here. And I did the first 2 months without no family and I was like, this is a lot. I need to go home.
So your husband agreed to go home?
Kind of. My husband is a family man, and his family is here. His grandmother raised him, and he said he wanted to really be where his family was. So it wasn't really a hard decision for him. He had finished school. We were down there because he was in seminary school, because he's a minister. So he was done with that. He was like, really no other reason for us to be here.
Okay, so he's like, so left Nashville, came back to Cleveland, and even though it probably was a future weather shock, from being down there sometimes, but coming back with family. So when you came back up here, what was your first profession before you started the for-profit and the nonprofit?
I have always been in kind of sales. I'm a trainer, so I teach customer service, and sales. So I work for T-Mobile, and I went around did their training for them. So that was my thing. I didn't like it. I worked for Cleveland Clinic doing customer service training, worked for farmers doing the same thing. It just wasn't my gift, but I've always had my nonprofit in the process. So I've always did stuff in the process, just little stuff with my nonprofit. But in 2017, I left work to launch my nonprofit, but it didn't really go the way I wanted to. I went back to work in 2018, middle of 2018. I worked for a while. I actually worked for the federal government when I went back to work. And then I left the federal government to go work for the collaboration with Bridges, and I worked at NIAP. And then 3 weeks ago, I actually left NIAP to pursue just being a full-time entrepreneur.
So you made sure that you had stable. Sometimes when you don't have, like, I want to build a business and do that, you have the funds to do such, because you still got to live, you still got to eat, unless you want to eat ramen noodles until you start it, and that cuts out a lot of the food costs, but you'll probably have a waxy buildup later.
Right.
But
yeah.
So it always takes. You want to shout out your husband? You want to shout out your husband?
I do. That's my husband, is Minister David Crawford. He is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Right. So which church is he at?
We are at New Fellowship off of Parkwood. Our pastor is Frederick Nichols, and my husband is under him.
Okay. So so the thing about it is like, you have and most women who are, I don't know, some are not in relationships. You are in a full-blown marriage and don't usually shout out the man. So it's great that you shouted out your husband for. So how did he feel about you starting the profits and nonprofits? Because it was like, had a kind of a conversation in the home.
He is my number one supporter, right? So before I had volunteers, before people was like, "Oh, let me help you," he was the one helping me. We did a backpack drive, a back to school drive 2 years ago. We gave away 492 backpacks. We did 100 haircuts, 75 hairstyles, and it was just me and him manning this whole event. Nobody came out to help us. We did it at our church. It was just us. And he's always been that, babe, whatever your vision is, I'm going to support it. He's adamant about believing in me and what God has given me to do. Even when I did my initial sermon, when I began preaching, he has always been my biggest cheerleader. He is now the vice president of my organization. And he serves on my board as well, and he's my director of operations in the building.
All right. So a couple of people, Darius Webb Marshall, Christopher Crawford, shouting you guys out. That's always a plus when you're together. Usually your spouse or mate is supposed to be your biggest supporter, best friend. So it's nice to hear. It's great to hear something like that, especially African American. So how long have y'all been married?
We have been married. It'll be 10 years this year. We got married at a very young age. We've been through everything together. We've not had everything. We done slept on the floor together. We done did everything. And now we've learned how to meet each other where we are, give each other our space. And we've learned the biggest thing is how to pray for and with each other.
Right. So you talk about both of you are ministers?
We are. My husband's been in the ministry for 13 years, and this year would be year 3 for me.
So what made you decide to be a minister?
I got my calling at 19. I ran from it because, first of all, my family is traditional Baptist. They don't believe in women preachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also because of my past, and a lot of times that's in life, in church, in business, we struggle with that imposter syndrome that we're just not good enough. And I was like, there's no way that God can be calling me to preach because I done been abused, I've been misused, I've been a liar, I've done all these things. God cannot use me. And then he reminded me that he used some of the worst people in the Bible to spread his word. So if he can use them, he can definitely use me.
Go to Damascus. Paul
Yes.
became Saul. Yeah, so you can use him, and he murdered Christians. So let's put it out there. So if you listen to that, he can use you as well. Your whole basis of women empowerment, you know,
Yes.
that's great. One thing, what's up with the brothers?
Oh man, so let me tell you. So we have been getting that question for a very long time. So in Nashville, we do have a boys side to our organization. I just have not launched it here in Cleveland. I actually just announced that was it 3 weeks ago? I was on WOVU with Brian Webster from
Mhm.
Burt Bell and Carr, and I gave him the dime that we are actually opening up a boys center here in Cleveland. So we're gonna have the gaming room, the barber shop, the tutoring center, the gym. We having all that, and we are launching that here in Cleveland. We're also opening up a transitional house for girls coming out of foster care. So we're gonna take care of the boys. We got them. I got two
Okay.
boys myself, so I understand that there's not a lot of stuff to do for Black, positive stuff to do for African
Right.
American kids.
Right. So how many? So you say so? How many children overall?
I have three.
Three. Two boys, one girl.
Yeah.
All right. So the thing is that we it's very important that and not to say about it because because I work with a New Voices for Reproductive Justice. Besides doing this, and we work with for the health for African American women and girls, pretty much. So, what are you looking? What if somebody wants to try to come and help you or work for you? What are you looking for? What kind of education, or what are you looking for? And if
Um,
you, or and if and the second part about it is, do you have any openings now?
so for the Girls Center, we actually do have openings right now. We are hiring for a enrollment specialist for our summer camp to handle like summer camp and things like that. We are hiring for administrative assistant right now, and we are also hiring for some summer camp counselors. Far as the boys side, we will eventually be hiring for a VP, a program manager, and counselors as well. On my side, our counselor and stuff on the girl side is already full, but on the boys, we'll be looking for case managers and counselors and basketball coaches and barbers and all those things as well in the near future for the boys side.
Okay. So, what kind of education are you looking for?
Um, and a lot of our positions, I really like to say, an high school diploma or some college, and are more, ones that's geared towards the state or they require special licensing, like our social workers and things. Of course, you have to have your social work license. For the ones that are like trying to do things like our program managers, we ask for an associate's degree. But what I've learned and what I understand the gift that God has given me also, besides helping kids and helping girls and things like that, is that he's given me a ministry to help our Black people get back on their feet, right? And one thing we've known is that employment is not always equal and it's not always fair for us. I also look at experience versus education. And if you have an experience versus your education, then I take that into consideration.
Okay, so you pretty much take all that into consideration.
Yeah.
All right, so we got something. Is somebody popping in? Okay, all right, but you said experience versus education. It's always a plus. You can have the education in the world, but you don't have experience dealing with people, man. You
I always encourage people to volunteer first, right? So then you can gain that experience.
so hold on for this. Mute, please. Hold on. Excuse me. I'm just making sure that all righty then. Hold on for just a second. Boom. This. Hold on. Hold on just a second.
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay. Shout out to Errol Porter for Errol. I need for you to be on mute, sir.
Oh.
Hello. I'm hearing your rehearsal in the background here. And whoever's singing that, please have her. Like, I want to hear her later, but she sounds soulful. But yeah, we still doing this. So thank you. All righty then. He's put it on mute. So happens in radio.
Right.
But you have like the thing about it is the talent. You could be anywhere else, but you decided to do you work for, what's the difference between working for corporations and you work for pretty much being a CEO, you work for the federal government? What's the difference between working for corporations and government and working for yourself?
Well, I've worked on, like I said, I worked for the state and I worked for the federal government. I actually worked for the Department of Defense before as well. The things that I realized, as far as being in social work and being a case manager now, when I left NIAP because I overheard them talking about me, and I was one of the 3 Black people in our office, and they were making comments of, Black people like her, or people like her, or girls like her think this and they think they're going to be successful. And I heard them behind closed doors, and I knocked on the door and I asked them, like, hey, is there something you want to have a conversation about? Like,
right. Yeah, wait, hold on.
But what triggered in my mind is that NIAP serves foster care kids, right? Which our population is 80% African American. So if I, who have these degrees and who've been able to write, I wrote their curriculum for them for their independent living. If I've done those things, right, and I have all these things to bring to the table, and you're calling me people like her, then what are you saying about the kids that you serve, right? And what are you calling them behind closed doors? So what I then also realized is that it's my responsibility as a Black woman in social work, in case management, and youth empowerment to speak up for our kids where they can't. And I've noticed that a lot of things that goes on behind foster care, like shipping kids out the state because we don't have places for them to live here, sending them to Canada because we don't have places to put them here, is a problem, right? But me working for the organization isn't helping the problem because they're not really helping the problem. I need to take out what I need to do for myself and for my people and do it. So what I learned is that working for a corporate America, there's benefits, right? There's that stability. You know that this check is going to be here every week. You know that you're going to be able to go to the doctor and you have your insurance. Working for the federal government, you have this pension after you're done, right? So you do them 30 years, they're going to take care of you for the rest of your life. But working for myself is so much more gratifying because now I can look past certain things on people and give people second chances. I can be home with my children and be present in my household the way I need to be to make sure that my kids don't become a statistic or they don't become another Black Lives Matter case, right? So it gives me the flexibility to make sure that I'm present in the areas that I need to be. If there's a child that says, oh, Miss Crawford, I want you to come see me do this, I'm able to close my office doors, walk away, and be there for that child. I'm a firm believer that every person in this world deserves to have the feeling that they mean the world to somebody. And sometimes I'm that person to make them feel that they mean the world to me, and I have to be present for that.
You pretty much adopted mom or something. these children, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you pretty much an adopted. I mean, pretty much an adopted mom to me. They're like you're pretty much, like my mother who's calling my cell phone now. Hey, ma, I'll talk to you later. Who's an adopted mom for some people. So yeah, like you are an adopted mom for these children because even though their mothers Bobby are too busy, some of them are too busy, got to work 2, 3 jobs to maintain. Some don't have somebody in the household. So, you doing that for them is wonderful. As far as your own personal, you talked about your mom, what about your father? Have you seen it?
So my dad, so that's a touchy subject.
I'm
So
sorry.
my dad, no, you're fine. I'll talk about it in my book anyway. But my dad, who raised me, is my best friend. He is the dad that I've known to be my father all my life. He is, I love him to death. I will do anything for him. But at 13, I found out that he was not, well, at 13, he found out he wasn't my father, but he never changed. I found that at 21 that he wasn't my father. It totally devastated me, knocked me out my wits end. But he's still been a great father. My stepfather is, oh my God, is my hero. Like me and my mom wasn't getting along. We were struggling. We was living place to place, and he swooped in like Superman and changed my whole life. Like I was able to have a house. I was able to have my own room. So I love him to death. And then my biological father, who's actually my birth father, I only met him once, and he's actually serving a prison sentence right now.
How long?
I think it's like 20 years.
Oh, ouch. Yeah. So you said now you mentioned you had a book out. What's the book called?
I actually have a book. It's called Broken to Grace. And I also have 2 journals that I created. I created a prayer journal for women, and I have a prayer journal for teenage girls.
So where can they get those? So where people
On
can
my
get the
what
books at?
on my website. So my website for women is beautifullyme.org.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my website for kids is motivated and empowered.com.
Okay. Like is there a price for those particular books?
Yeah, they're like $19.
Okay.
Yeah.
They can get those and Mother's Day is coming up. So you
Yes,
go
we
ahead.
do. We have a really dope T-shirt, Beautifully Me. It's a black woman with an afro holding her daughter, and like this rose. And it's one of my favorite T-shirts for Mother's Day. And we do Mother's Day actually boxes with it, so we make it real pretty. Put a book in there, a prayer journal, T-shirts, and we send one to the mother and one for the daughter.
Oh, so be a Mother's Day gift for both mother and daughter?
Yeah, so because I'm big on mother-daughter relationships, so we send the journals out because we love our parents, right? We have a lot of people have amazing relationships with their mother, and but sometimes people don't have a good relationship with their mother. So we want to make sure that when you rocking your T-shirt that says "I love my daughter" and you holding this black beautiful woman, then your daughter can rock one that says "I love my mom." And it's the same concept.
And since Mother's Day is May 8th, or May 9th, I want to remind everybody how much, how much are those? How much are those?
So for the Mother Day baskets, they are $40. And like I said, it comes with a journal, a book, and the T-shirts.
Okay. So where can they get those at?
As well on my website, beautifullyme.org.
Beautifullyme.org. So they get those and then they pay for that. And then how long does it take before? How
And
long?
normally, I'm one of those, I don't like to wait type people. So I
Mm-hmm.
normally ship them out within like a day of a person ordering them to me. And shipping I send it priority, so it's normally a day or 2 for shipping.
Okay. So you can send it out to the mother and daughter?
Yep.
All right. There's an idea floating in my head. But how can people also donate to your nonprofit? how can they also donate to your nonprofit as well?
On our website, so motivatedanempowered.com.
Okay, motivatedanempowered.com. I want you to send me those links. I can put them on not only this show page, send them via messenger, not only this show page, but my page and other pages, my other journalism pages, so I can spread the word out, because it's important that, you know, we talk about, oh, we want to do this for our girls, we want to do this for our boys, but everybody know that America's a capitalist society. It takes money, you know.
Listen,
PayPal, Cash App, Venmos, you know, those
we
things.
take it all.
So
we take it all.
So we need to support. Thank you. We need to support those people that are doing it. And by the way, I love the gala, and I'm sorry that, you know, you just took a hit. I enjoyed it. I really did, actually, in 2018.
We actually doing another one this year. But I'm coming a lot more prepared. I got a whole event team, right? So we're actually doing another one this year. It's going to be November 13th, and it's Hope in the City again. And that's our title, Hope in the City again. COVID has hit us, and we want to come back and make sure that next year our kids is coming out fully swinging. We want to take our tutoring program to a whole nother level. What we noticed is that in COVID, there's a standard for the state of Ohio that kids have to be able to read at a 4th grade level in order to pass to the 3rd grade. They have not been able to be tested, so we're not even sure if they're reaching that standard and what's going to happen if they find out they don't reach the standard, because Ohio has not said, well, are we going to pass them? Are we going to send them back? Those things haven't been talked about. We also know that our kids have not been prepared for college, right? So the ones that are seniors and juniors are going to go into the universities completely shell shocked. So
yeah, you understand that. So you want to make sure that these young adults are prepared for the world of higher learning, correct?
yes.
So thing is that how can how can mothers or fathers or anybody, how can they put somebody how do you get somebody in your nonprofit?
They can either go on the website, or they can call the office to the center. And we have everything here. We have partnerships, we have clothes, we have hygiene products, we have food boxes, we have weekend backpacks with food thanks to the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. We have a partnership with the Cavs. We sending girls to basketball camp for the summer for free. We're giving them tickets throughout the year to the Cavs games for free. You just got to tap in and call the center, and we're here to help.
That's it. You got to call. So what's the telephone number again?
216-965-0000.
The thing is the thing about it is you're doing a wonderful job. And you said that you have a nonprofit for the boys in Nashville. So who's helping you run that?
We have a partnership with the organization down there, which is inside of Metro Davidson school districts. So we pretty much gave them curriculum, and they picked the people who's going to do it until I actually come back down there. So I am going to be leaving Cleveland in November, and starting going back and forth between the two to get them ready. And then I'll also be going to Akron and opening up in Akron.
So you're free. So you want to get this nationwide, right? You want to get the nonprofits.
We're going global. I'm actually going to Ghana in September to start our chapter there.
Really? This September?
Yes.
Okay, so it's international.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So you want to make sure that it's international. You spreading the word of helping young people, which is especially young women, which is very important. You know, everybody knows, we talk about high rate of human trafficking, how women are not being taken advantage of. We just had a girl that got shot by the police in Columbus. Her funeral was today. Kaya Bryant, rest in peace to her. There's a lot of stuff
around the corner when it happened. We had to take our kids down to Columbus, and we literally were getting in the car to leave to come back to Cleveland when it was breaking news. And my daughter heard it, and my daughter is 5, and she looked at me and she said, "Mommy, why don't they like us?" And I was like, "Oof."
Yeah, you know what? Oh, that's an uncomfortable conversation to have with somebody under the age of 10.
Yeah.
So it's that is an uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
We if anything, I know that because this was unusual circumstances that you've been dealing with the pandemic, I'm going to invite you back to our
Oh,
studio when we are open up to talk more because it is important that you spread the word. What is the fun fact about your organization? The most funniest thing that happened to you while doing all this?
I think the funniest thing that ever happened to me is me and my girls were actually having like this dance challenge. It was like some new dance move. Y'all know I think I'm still hip, right? I'm not
Mhm.
that hip, okay? I'm getting old. And we at Brush High School. We out there dancing, and Coach B fell, bust my butt, and they all died laughing. After they made sure I
Wow.
got up. They made sure I got up first.
You got up?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but they laughed. They laughed at me. It's okay.
Cool. I'll laugh, but I, I employ y'all.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right, the open positions that um you have open, the administrative position, the counselor, and things of that nature. How can people apply, and what is is there like I know it's a nonprofit, so what is the starting? Is there like
Um,
a base salary?
our base salary here is $12.50 an hour, depending on what position it is. And they can send their resumes to us at hr@motivatedannempower.com or come inside the center and grab an application.
Okay. And any we know that some people may have something on their records, felonies, misdemeanors, things of that nature. So can people with felonies apply or can they not?
They can't, unfortunately, because we are licensed with the state of Ohio, so we do have to do background checks on all of our employees, and then maintain our license. We cannot have anyone with certain type of felonies and misdemeanors. It depends on what it is.
Okay, it depends on what it is. Like if he just robbed a bank and he got caught up in the getaway car.
That's grand theft.
All right, that's not that. So what felonies would prohibit them from prohibit somebody?
Honestly, the state don't like any felonies. It's going to be the misdemeanors that they may look over.
Okay, all right. So that's understandable. But because you're gonna be working with young and presentable children, so that's understandable.
Yep,
So we understand, but you are hiring, and this is
we are.
good wages. That
Yes.
them stimmies are not going to last long. So anybody my Facebook Live people, so they're not gonna last long. So so you got to make sure that you get in, working with a organization that you can work with. So the administrative assistant positions and things of that nature, are they just for women only, or can anybody do?
Oh, anybody can do it as long as you have a skill of organization, that you have a skill set of being able to make things happen when it needs to happen, right? Because we do a lot of things. We have over 19 programs here. So it's a lot of moving parts. You can't get overwhelmed. You can't be defeated. You got to take some stuff on the chin and keep going.
Right, and that's 3740 Euclid Avenue.
Yes.
And what about working with other organizations that empower women? Would you will like to partner up with them?
Partnerships are essential for organizations. It's essential for funding. I am a grant writer, I understand that. So I'm all about partnerships.
And you charge extra for the grant writing.
I
So
sure do.
all right, so can anybody get the grant writing?
They can. They
All right,
can.
they just got to come down and talk to you at 3740 Euclid Avenue.
Or go on my website, beautifullyme.org.
Beautifullyme.org. You got to put that up. See, the thing about it is like there's a lot of the thing about it is like people like I don't know how to get a business and we need a PPP or EDI, all that, offering all that, but there are grant writers out there that will help you. How much is the grant writing fee?
It depends. I have where I can do one grant for you for $99, or I can do a full package for you for $7.99, where I'm writing as many grants as I can within the time span.
Does that include home buying grants?
No, I ain't got them yet. I ain't got there yet.
You gotta get. Can you get the? Can they get? You can write them a grant. Can they get the money so they can get the home. That's what I'm saying. Like,
And yeah, they can. They can. There's a lot of grants out there. People just don't know about it. Even for people who are independent contractors, people who are for profits, not just nonprofits, there is money out there, and we are letting it slip by. Listen, that's why the white is getting richer, and we out here looking crazy still because we ain't trying to get this money. I'm all about getting my coins. Okay.
Right. Pretty much. Oh, hey, I need to talk to you. I might have to pay you because I am an independent media person. If you didn't see me last night run around at the NFL draft, I had so many people down there. I want to
I
be
think
on.
he said it's time to end the show.
Right. It's about time. Yeah, it's about time to end the show. It's 5:56. We gotta go. But before we go, like you're saying, like, can you do something for me? I'm just saying,
hit me up and we will definitely talk about it.
All right. All right. So Bianca, thank you very much. And I'm gonna have you back in studio when everything's cleared up again. So I thank you very much. And for everybody that's been listening on the Zoom call, it'll be up on YouTube. I'll have it on my YouTube page, so I'll share that. And I'm also going to share Bianca's links so you can get them Mother's Day baskets. We're going to support our own pretty much. We need to keep money there in our communities and support it. If you're looking for something for Mother's Day, do that. All right. So Bianca,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. If nobody touches the love you today, love you out there. Zoom, Voice It Radio, Facebook land, Internet land, social media, all that. And Bianca, thank you. I know you're a busy woman. We'll let you go, but we're going to talk later. All right?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
All right. Bye.
So we are about to wrap everything up. And I thank you very much. Thank you, E, for what you've done today. So I'm about to upload everything. So like I said, if nobody tells you they love you today, I do.
Appreciate it.
No problem. So I'm just going to do that. And it's over. I might go down there to the NFL draft part 2. It was kind of nice. Yesterday was rainy. So I'm about to head down there. So let me see how I'll end this. So, all right. Peace, love, and hair grease.
All right. Be careful. Have fun.
I will.